Today, I'm going to tell you about one of the greatest geniuses in the history of science, Isaac Newton. You may know him only as the man who discovered gravity, but in reality, Newton was a highly versatile figure who left his mark on many fields, from science and philosophy to religion and alchemy. But did an apple really fall on his head? What happened in the calculus wars between him and Leibniz? And how did one of history's greatest scientists lose millions of dollars? If you want to find out the answers to these questions, stay tuned until the end of the video. Newton was born on December 25, 1642, the same year that Galileo died. However, this date was according to the Julian calendar, which was used in England at the time. If we convert it to the modern Gregorian calendar, Newton's birth date corresponds to January 4th, 1643. The name Isaac comes from the Old Testament, referring to Isaac, the son of Abraham. Since his family was religious, it's not surprising that they chose a biblical name. Newton's childhood was far from easy. His father died 3 months before he was born, and when his mother remarried, she left him with his grandmother. Growing up alone, Newton was introverted but also extremely curious. At a young age, he started building mechanical inventions. In 1661, he entered Cambridge University, where he studied mathematics, physics, and astronomy. However, his greatest breakthrough came in 1665, when a major plague outbreak forced the university to close. The plague that ravaged Europe between 1665 and 1666 forced Newton to return home, but this turned out to be a great opportunity for him. During this period, he developed calculus, studied the nature of light, and laid the foundations of his famous theory of gravity. The story of an apple falling on Newton's head might be exaggerated, but it is true that he observed an apple tree and began thinking about gravity. However, this doesn't mean he came up with his theory in an instant. Rather, it was part of a thought process that took years. Newton valued experimentation, but sometimes he took things too far. For example, to study the nature of light, he once inserted a needle into his eye socket to test how it affected his vision. Newton was not only an incredible genius, but also known for being obsessive, vengeful, and socially difficult. He never forgave his rivals and could hold grudges for years. Alongside science, Newton was deeply religious. In fact, he spent more time studying the Bible than working on his scientific theories. Newton's manuscripts reveal that he tried to calculate the date of the apocalypse based on the Bible. According to his estimates, the end of the world would come in the year 2060. Despite being a pioneer of modern science, Newton was also deeply involved in alchemy. It is said that he searched for the philosopher's stone and even studied methods for achieving immortality. In 1678, Newton suffered a major nervous breakdown. He fell into depression and cut off his social relationships entirely. However, a few years later, he recovered and began working on one of his greatest masterpieces, Principia Mathematica. Who really discovered calculus? Newton or Leibniz? In reality, both developed calculus independently, but Newton and his supporters accused Leibniz of plagiarism, leading to a long-lasting academic battle. Published in 1687, Principia Mathematica laid the foundation for modern physics, explaining the laws of motion and universal gravitation. Newton had a fierce rivalry with the renowned scientist Robert Hooke. In fact, when writing Principia, he deliberately omitted Hooke's name and ignored his contributions. In 1689, Newton entered the English Parliament. However, he is recorded to have spoken only once, and that was to say, "Can someone close the window?" Throughout his life, Newton suffered at least 2 major mental breakdowns. His collapse in 1693 in particular revealed how psychologically fragile he could be. In 1696, Newton was appointed Master of the Royal Mint. In this role, he tracked down counterfeiters and even had them executed. When Leibniz died in 1716, Newton's supporters claimed it as a victory for him. However, today we know that Leibniz contributed to calculus just as much as Newton did. In 1720, Newton made a huge financial mistake. He invested heavily in the South Sea Company and ended up losing most of his fortune. Newton's life is a testament to how a genius can reach both the highest peaks and the lowest depths. He revolutionized science, yet he was not immune to mistakes. Perhaps his greatest legacy is that he never stopped questioning and exploring. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.